Happy New Year! What's up?
Is this life?
There's no loss without some gain.
Insert something really dope right here.
If you scared to take a chance,
If you with me, then I'm with you.
Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to One Day Podcast with One. Talk about life, everything, and anything. We were going through the three obstacles when holiday season struck. Sorry about my delay. Happy New Year, happy holidays to y'all. I know I'm a bit late, but family, friends, got a new job, just obligations, just totally, took my time. And when it comes to this podcast, I want to be able to make sure I can sit down, really, think about what I'm about to say to you, and put my full attention and focus into it. So, I apologize for the break, but let's try to pick up where we left off. I was talking about the three biggest obstacles, three biggest doors, if you will, in my way to becoming one and finding oneness with myself. And I mentioned fear and talked about, growing up and facing reality and responsibility. And of course, we have our phobias and our traumas that stick with us and that might scar us, and we become fearful of those things. But in 2020, what a year of fear. Just being able to find courage, being able to find confidence in yourself, identify your strengths, identify your weaknesses, get to know yourself a little bit better. Choose your battles. There are some fears that aren't worth facing, and there are some fears that are worth looking straight in the face and saying, I'm tired of being afraid of you. No more. And we talked about depression, talked about sadness and loneliness, and how much it can help to just try to be your own best friend. And I should have talked more about seeking friendship, seeking a sense of community, a sense of belonging. I did mention belonging, so just try not to feel so alone, try not to feel so stuck and by yourself. Like I suffer from the same things, and again, all of my account is personal. I wish I could say I came from a professional background, but a lot of it is stuff that I've faced, a lot of stuff that I've struggled with and suffered through. So sharing that with you helps me feel not alone, and it also helps me heal from the things that I've faced, the hardships that I've had. And you deserve to do the same. So let's get at it, because I think a lot of my fear and depression comes from external factors, where this last door, this last obstacle to becoming one is more self-induced. I don't really mean to make myself unhappy when I'm feeling super depressed. Usually it's stuff in the world or stuff that's happened to me that makes me feel sad. And when it comes to fear, I become afraid of traumatic events, experiences, things that I've faced that have, like I said before, scarred and left their mark on me, where if I face them again, I might be more hesitant or more fearful. Where anxiety can come from the external. I understand how a lot of people, get anxious about presentations and job interviews and facing crowds, or maybe it's a first date or something. But after a while, experience and exposure can get you a long way, where if you practice those social interactions, or even if you just practice talking, even if it's to yourself sometimes, you can really, start to realize where you kind of start to take the conversation this way or that way, or just recognize your own habits and behaviors. It's important to be self-reflective, especially now more than ever. So I just really want to encourage that. Not that getting anxious in those situations isn't totally valid. I've definitely been there, done that. I am starting to realize that the more I do those things, the more I become comfortable with them, where the anxiety I'm talking about is this inner sense of worry or uneasiness that um, is really hard to shake off. It is like basically anything can cause it. Any type of stimulus is like, you know, anxiety ridding. Um, uh, is anxiety giving, and um, there's extremes. There's definitely extremes to it. I don't want to pretend like I'm the most anxious person ever. Um, but yeah, when it comes to doing something like this and just opening up and being vulnerable and talking about, my three biggest struggles in life, you know, and even though they're pretty deep, I am on a self-actualization journey. So the things that I talk to tend to go deep, and so the insecurities and obstacles that I have are the big ones. Fear as like a broad concept, depression as like more than just a medical diagnosis, and same with anxiety, just this like everyday happening of just facing the stimulus of the world and like trying to make sense of the universe all at the same time, while just trying to make sure that your friends are happy and your girlfriend thinks you're cute. um it's obviously it's a lot. I could just end it right there. It's a lot. It's heavy. um I tend to call it the weight for two reasons. You can spell it WEIGHT, the weight, like the pressure that bears on you, this, uncertainty of future and decisions, and who am I going to be, and where am I going to go, and what am I going to do, and, the questions, the incessant questions, the what ifs, the should I's, the where to, the but, what if, what, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Um, just chatter. Da, 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 all day in your head, just trying to figure everything out. And um, when your mind moves a million miles a minute. And there was a time where I thought that was just like how I was. It's just how I think. It's just how I am. And I still feel that way sometimes. I'm just like, all right, this is how because once I get rolling, I mean, people will look at me like, well, some people will look at me like, and I'll have to explain to them like, yes, this is all the time. This is how my mind works, because it is a lot, and especially like if you want to do something like create a message, make a song, and try to speak to people, or do a podcast and try to reach people. There's a lot of what ifs. I mean, you take that on top of a pandemic, on top of whatever's going on right now. A lot of unrest, a lot of people been in their houses way too long, cooped up. But maybe some of this is necessary. Like when you're cooped up by yourself and you're facing yourself, you're facing your life, you're facing those questions that sometimes you put on the back burner because, the meaning of life can wait. Starts to get to you. So let's break it down. I got to disclaim for you again. Got to disclaim that, again, this is personal stuff. I've been through it. This is like an account from my perspective. So I'm just giving you what I know. I'm giving you what I have, and it's the best that I got. I practice and rehearse this a little bit, but the rehearsals are never exactly the same as the real thing. So I'm giving you my all here, and hopefully you feel that as I'm talking. But I like to start. I like to start with the definition, just so we can. Because I like this definition, actually. Sometimes you look something up and it's like, no, that's not it at all. And I was a little worried that they might go somewhere with this. I don't know why, but Um, Anxiety is the feeling of worry, nervousness, uneasiness, usually about an imminent event or uncertain outcome, and I think that's appropriate. Um, Imminent events like that job interview or that first date or the things that are just bound to happen. You got to do it sometime. Got to present in front of a group of people your findings, your research, your knowledge, your. I mean, what am I doing? Um, no, I mean not like this. You don't have to start a podcast. Don't. I'm not pushing you to do that if you don't want to. But um, I think worry for me is the biggest part of anxiety. Um, Nervousness. I'm a little nervous, but I've dealt with nerves before. When I think about nervousness, uneasiness, like worry is that word. Like worry is the word where it's like I start to think of the uncertain outcomes, um, all the things that I can't necessarily explain, or the answers that I don't, I guess the perfect answers that I don't have that I wish I did, for myself or for others. Um, the level of talent, the level of skill, the like fullness of what I can give. I just wish I was like at that point where, I mean, you've heard this before. Like it's this is the thing is, I'm not saying that my anxiety is, or that anxiety generally is worse than depression or worse than fear, but with this one, it's attached to that. My anxiety is attached to my depression. My anxiety is attached to my fear. I feel anxious that I'm going to face fear again. I feel anxious about feeling as depressed as I've been in the past. I feel anxious about being anxious again. And, oh, how long am I going to keep asking myself if I'm good enough before I actually just like grow a pair and do the thing? And it's sad because, you know, it prevents me from doing the thing if all I'm caught up in is worrying about the outcome of what happens when I do this. What happens if I make music about spreading hope and peace and trying not to fight and trying to like get over that and trying to see eye to eye and find equality and find freedom, and those are for some people far-fetched things. It's you know hard hard to get through sometimes. So then I get anxious, I get worked up, my mind starts going, how can I communicate, how can I be better? um, and it can get debilitating, it can get hindering. And I'm pretty optimistic. I like to think of the best of the best of the best. Um, but then when reality doesn't match that, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. But if you just think of the worst of the worst of the worst all the time, every day, your your thoughts are just totally enveloped in that. Get caught up in. I read this amazing thing by Deepak Chopra today, just about finding and spreading peace, and that we're all capable of finding peace. And once you find peace, you're that much more capable of spreading it. And it was a big theme for me because anxiety is like, it's like taking that still pond, that peace, and then a raindrop hits, and then another raindrop hits, and the ripples and the ripples and the ripples, and before you know it, there's a freaking storm in your head. All these raindrops, all these ripples, all this uneasy water. Where's the peace? Can I find some silence? Can I find some quiet? Can I find just some room to breathe? Like, please. Mm. And it's so sad when it feels like it's like black and white to me, where it's like, okay, either I'm in a meditative state and I'm totally in peace and calm, or I'm out in the world freaking matching the anxiety, that the high energy of everything, um, just trying to grasp its own existence, grasp its own, purpose. And we're amazing. We really are human beings. Human beings are just so cool. We can create worlds in our head and convince ourselves of different truths and different realities and different perceptions and perspectives, and um, we're so powerful in that way, such powerful manifestors. Um, but if we use that energy towards peace, creating peace for yourself and true peace for others. I'm not saying selling peace, and I'm not saying, yes, it's useful when there's books, and it's useful when there's classes, and there's, teachings and all of that. But instead of, just selling peace for a price, actually teaching people the values, the qualities, the practices of finding inner peace and outer peace. I mean, pretty soon here I'll be making music again, and a lot of my lyrics explain this in a cooler way than I can just say. Because when I get into the flow, it actually is fun. It's just, I'm not trying to toot my own horn at all, y'all. You know me, I'm not into that ego bragging stuff, but I sometimes will impress myself with a bar or two about this is actually really what I mean, and it freaking rips. It rhymes. It hits. Part of this reason that I'm starting this podcast again is to help me realize that through my anxiety and through my fear and through my depression, that there is this. And you don't really get there is this without feeling those things, without feeling the anxiety and feeling the sadness and feeling loneliness or fear. I mean, everybody goes through them in some way, in some shape or form, mental, physical, spiritual, emotional. Come on, any plane, any level you want to hit it, of course. It exists. And it's hard because, at some level it is subjective. It can feel a little different to all of us. It depends on situation and happenstance, and you can't really objectively just say this is what it is and here's the cure. But there is something really close to a cure to all that stuff. I mean, I'm realizing now that my depression isn't just itself, and my fear isn't just one thing, and my anxiety isn't just a pillar. I mean, they all kind of build up on each other. And at one point I thought it was such darkness, I thought it was such evil that was just getting ridden upon my life, just smiting me and breaking me down, and all this anxiety and this depression and this fear that I feel, all this doubt, all this insecurity and worry and uneasiness and disassociation and who am I, where am I, what am I doing? My heart's skipping, I'm sweating, I'm cramping, I'm getting weak, lose my appetite, shaky hands, My girlfriend, she even gets muscle spasms, twitches, hyperventilation. Like, anxiety can get you, yo. Especially if you have any panic disorder. I mean, no matter how extreme, just it's overwhelming, it's scary. You feel like, you question if you have control over yourself, you question if you have control over your mind, over your body. It's terrifying. If you'll let me, anybody who's going through this, of course, I'm sorry. If you'll let me, though, say but. Please. I'm sorry, but let me say but. But facing those things, facing that type of suffering, does give you a type of strength that people who don't face those things, who ignore them and, don't address that they might be a little anxious or might be a little depressed or might be a little fearful, whatever it is that's afflicting you. You got to be honest with yourself. Accept that you might need a little help to get better. And that help, the first person you need help from might be yourself. You don't necessarily have to go to anybody else first, but address to yourself, hey, I want to get better. And this isn't forever. And I want to start looking for the things that make me happy. I want to start looking for the things that make me confident in myself. I want to start looking for the things that make me feel at home, at peace with myself and where I am and what I'm doing. I don't need to worry so much about the future. The future, it's still being made. I'm still making decisions that are going to take me there. So let me just be here and make those decisions. Focus on right now. I'll get there. I'll get there. I'll get there. Just like depression, it tries to take you back. Oh, will I ever be this happy? Will I ever feel that good again? Why don't I feel that good now? Just wait. Just wait. Patience. It's the weight. Because at first it feels like pressure. It feels like weight that's bearing on you. And you're waiting forever for something, anything, please, to just get better, be better. The wait. But the wait is worth it. The wait is worth it. I mean, this knowledge that I give you, the truth that I'm pouring out to you, you don't just get it from watching movies and reading books. You get it from living, experiencing it firsthand. Having friends, having personal experiences, having, family, I mean, even strangers I see just letting their anxiety just take a hold of them. And, for some people, they, just identify with that. I was once there, dude. I totally know how it is to identify with your depressions, your fears, your anxieties. It's kind of easy, actually, to identify with that stuff. Especially if you surround yourself with things that make you anxious, like school. Back when I was at school, that stuff was feeding my stress. It was feeding my anxiety. It was feeding my depression. It was feeding my fear. It was, and I'm sorry to say, like, for some people, that's your ticket out. For some people, school is the answer. Like, that's how you're gonna get to a better life. And for you, kudos, do it, go for it. For a kid who, school was just everywhere, all the time. It was my life for a long time. I needed to have a sense of independence, a sense of freedom. I needed to find that. All these expectations, and even if it was subjective, people didn't mean it. They were just accidentally projecting expectations onto me to act this way and say these things and be this. Like, I wanted to be myself. Where is he? Yeah. This quarantine has given me more than enough time to sit with myself. I'm not complaining. I need, we all need this time. Whether we know it or not, I've got to think that way. I've got to think that somehow, some way we needed it. We needed the things that have been showing up, maybe for worse, but have showed their face, poked their head, like maybe it's, oh, I didn't realize that mole before, whack. Sorry, that was a bad analogy, whack a mole poking its head out, but sometimes like, oh, I didn't realize that about this, or um, just a lot of truth is kind of being uncovered through us just facing uncertainty, facing anxiety. What's the future going to be like? How can we handle it? Will we be able to handle it? Those questions, they keep coming back. You're going to see a pattern in the way that I try to face these things, because, and I try to spell those out in these next episodes. The keys to these doors, the cures to the obstacles. And I'm not saying that these are specifically the only things that you need to get past your anxiety, your fear, and your depression. Again, I'm just telling you what's helped me get through to me. And hopefully some of what I say can stick with you and help you on your journey. You don't have to take it too personally. I'm not trying to speak only at you, and there's no specific demographic that I have in mind. Just anybody who's facing anxiety or any of these afflictions or any of these things, that might want to try to do a little spring cleaning in their head when the season's coming, the season of spring. I know it's still winter, but we've just faced a lot of mental clutter. A lot of stuff has been trying to bear down on us and take up our mental space, and we all feel like we need to have an opinion on everything, and we all feel like we need to have a say and use our voice and stand up and speak out, and that's all fair. I don't want you to lose your sense of inner peace by attaching and identifying with everybody else's, lack of peace. Because for, most of us, it's peace that brought us to our values. It's that feeling of being safe and feeling at home and feeling loved, that makes us feel peace. Again, I'm a kid who majored in religion, so that's a lot of what I deciphered that religions were talking about when they talk about God, the energy of life that is in the universe, and the motion and energy of everything, and it's brought life to this planet. It's brought consciousness and sentience to us beings, and through all of the craziness and the chaos, like in every movie that we had as a kid or every book, like there was always this big chaotic thing, the end of the world, the apocalypse was going to happen, and the thing that saved the day was this thing called love. This feeling, this energy, this emotion. It was even deeper than that. It's just this inner sense of justice, this longing for happiness, for joy, for longevity, to love life and to love the people in it and to love the moments that you share with them, and it's just beautiful. And to trade that for anything, is so, sorry, I always end up kind of circling back to this because I just, I wish we could be in love with ourselves and be in love with our lives and be taught at the beginning of everything that was okay. You don't have to judge it. You don't have to, get super critical or super prejudiced or, impose your own version and definitions of everything onto everything. Like, you can just let it be. Like, I mean, yes, get involved when you feel like there needs to be some change, and um, you know, be honest. When it comes to helping yourself not feel anxiety, get in that mode. Meditate, find presence, breathe. I mean, if you can find gratitude for every breath that you have, for every breath that you're given, for being alive, for being able to experience the universe and interact with consciousness and see what's up, like breathing feels a whole lot better when you really see what being alive is bringing you. And yes, for some of us, it is really depressing and anxiety inducing and fearful. And for those people who are in those situations, I just pray that you see how love is speaking through those things, like even in the worst of the worst of the worst. If you can see that as a way that love is trying to show you, and then not this. Like whenever I've experienced deep hate, or dislike, or distaste, or just disgust, or any of the disses, I think about how all of those things, in a weird kind of, I love the paradoxes, things that kind of flip over on themselves. Like people acting inherently greedy and selfish and evil and ignorant and whatever it is. It almost treats as an example of what I don't want to get into for myself. And, I, of course, I don't know what everybody's going through, and I, you know, don't want to make any assumptions or surface judgments or anything like that. Um, there are people who make choices and decisions in their lives that, I look at that and I'm almost inspired by them to not be like them, if that makes any sense. Like, just, hey, what you're doing is so uncool that I know I don't want to be like that. And so, like, even people who just, you know, don't got it, depending on how you see it, you know, if people don't got it, then it's still okay, because it kind of reaffirms that you do. Like if you see somebody and you're like, oh, that's not it. I don't wanna be like that. That doesn't seem like that's giving that person any sense of peace or happiness or anything that I'm looking for in life. So I know not to go that way. Okay, good. These are the things that I can try to avoid at least. Um, so even in that way, I mean, sometimes bad things have a secret blessing in them, and um, even if you're facing anxiety and depression and fear, even if you're facing the deepest forms of those afflictions, of those obstacles, of those barriers that just try to set themselves up to block you, know that there's a secret blessing. There's something that those things are teaching you how to do, whether it's be, find their weak spot, find out, oh, this is where my anxiety, I start to feel less anxious. I see my anxiety gets heightened when I do this, but when I do this, my anxiety starts to fade out. I start to feel a little bit better, a little bit more calm, a little bit more present. These are the things that make me smile. These are the things that bring me happiness. I start to feel less alone. I start to feel less depressed, less drained and exhausted when I do these things. Like the afflictions they still kind of show you how to get out of them. And I think everybody deserves to know that. to know that even if you're going through the hardest of hard times, those hardest of hard times are in a way kind of unlocking something for you to be able to handle that. And then if you can find peace when you're anxious or when you're depressed or when you're fearful, when those things happen again, and you know, they might, you'll be ready to face them. You'll be more prepared. You'll find that confidence, you'll find that courage, and then you honestly start to find the 3 cures. Gratitude is the first one that we're going to talk about. Because after all the bad shiz I've been through, it's a miracle, but to be able to look back on those things and see and take the lessons that I've learned to where I am now and become who I am now. There's a gratitude. There's a gratefulness for that. Because now I can talk to people about it and show people that I'm legit too. I'm real. I've seen struggle. I've seen, yeah. And it's tough. It's tough to find that gratitude. It's so hard sometimes when it feels like life is taking from you, when it feels like life is happening at you, or it's teasing you, or it's poking you, or it's trying to get under your, and it feels like life is happening at you instead of for you. Take some deep breaths. And know that in those moments, when it feels like life is happening at you and you have no control and what can I do, who can I be, what's going on? Deep breaths. Maybe you can just try, that's all I'm asking, to look at it from a perspective of, how is this, I know it's hard, but how is this actually helping me to become stronger? Helping me to become more resilient, more tenacious, more spontaneous, more attuned, more at peace, not anxious, not worried. I don't have to worry anymore. I've already worried freaking lifetimes worth. I've already been sad a lifetime's worth. I've already been afraid a lifetime's worth. And I find gratitude. And it takes time. That's why second key, patience. Second cure, patience. That wait. At first it's a weight, it's a pressure, but then it becomes a waiting game. It becomes, alright, well then let me just chill with it. Let me just get in where I fit in, and when the moment is right, I strike. I take the opportunity and I go, 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 go. But until that moment arises, I chill. No reason to freak out, no reason to worry, no reason to, if it's meant to be, it will be. Let it be. And the third key, third cure, it's that big old love, the L word. I know right now it's like, where is it? Where is the love? Where is the love? Y'all ain't ready for my singing yet. But yeah, we want to know where it is, and and it's up to us, It's up to us to cultivate that, bring the love back. I know it's still there, and I know we feel it, and I know we see it, and I know, it's breaking down to when it really matters, and those who are, the freaking warriors of the light, they're showing out. I've seen some people showing the love out there, and thank you. I need it. I need a smile. I need a freaking high five, dude. Lord knows. Yeah, go to therapy. Talk your feelings out. Maybe your therapy is your friend, or maybe your therapy is a therapist, or a family member. I mean, just get your feelings out somehow. Do a podcast. Make some music. Be productive. If that's what helps you get out of your anxiety, or if what helps you get out of your anxiety is do nothing, rest and relax, chill. If you don't feel like talking your feelings out, not everybody is as verbose as myself. Write it down, and don't judge yourself. Don't judge what you write down. Don't be a critic. Come on, we already got enough of those. Be a friend. We're being best friends to ourselves, being best friends to each other. We need more of that. More of those good vibes, dude. Where's it at? And maybe exercise. Eat good food. Drink water. I know, I don't want to freaking tell you that it's wrong to be a couch potato or eat potato chips or drink potato pop. I hope that doesn't exist, but there is there are some really interesting whichever direction you want to take it, scientific facts or some spiritual knowledge about taking care of your body and eating right and making sure you stay hydrated, because keep yourself in the feng shui, keep yourself in balance, and you give yourself the nutrients, the things that you need. Your body will thank you, your life will thank you, your mind will thank you. Take care of yourself, take care of each other. We'll be talking about the cure soon. You know what it is, y'all. Big peace.